If nutrition feels like a never-ending stream of rules, count this, avoid that, time your meals, meal prep like a pro. You're not failing, you're overloaded, and when you're overloaded, you default to random eating, which makes your results random too. In this video, you'll get a simple daily meal system, a few templates you can repeat, portion rules that work whether you track or not, a meal prep method that saves time, and an eating out playbook so your progress survives real life. Watch while you work out and learn while you train. Part 1. The science of a meal system. If your goal is to look better, perform better, and feel in control around food, you need a system, not a streak of good days. A system turns outcomes into inputs you can actually steer. Fat loss is mostly about a weekly calorie deficit you can sustain. Muscle gain is mostly about enough training stimulus plus enough total calories and protein to recover and adapt. Performance is about fueling hard sessions and recovering between them. Your job is to manage the controllables, total weekly intake, daily protein, training quality, sleep, and the environment you eat in. When those inputs are stable, results follow. Start by linking your meals to what you do in the gym because food is not separate from training. If you lift 3 to 5 times per week, with most sets in the 6 to 15 rep range and 1 to 3 reps left in reserve on average, you are sending a clear build signal. Your meal system should support that signal with enough energy and protein, plus carbs placed where they improve training. If your training is inconsistent, no macro split will save you. If your training is solid, even a simple meal system will create momentum because recovery becomes predictable. Energy balance is the foundation, and it is simpler than it feels. If you consistently eat a little less energy than you spend, you lose body mass over time. If you consistently eat a little more, you gain mass over time. Maintenance is when those average out. The confusing part is that the scale does not report fat directly. It reports total body mass, and that can jump from water, glycogen, sodium, stress, muscle soreness, and even how much food is in your gut. That's why one weigh-in is noise and a trend is signal. Use weekly averages to make decisions. If your scale weight is up after a hard leg day, that can be inflammation and extra stored glycogen, not fat gain. If weight drops fast after a salty meal disappears from your system, that is water, not instant fat loss. A practical approach is to weigh often enough to see patterns and then compare 1 week's average to the next. This turns chaos into feedback. For athletes, it also prevents overcorrecting and accidentally underfueling performance. Think of calories like a budget you spend on purpose. You can run the budget with precise tracking, or you can run it with consistent portion templates, but the principle is the same. You need repeatable intake. For fat loss, aim for a pace that keeps training performance mostly stable and hunger manageable, not a crash. For gaining, aim for a pace that increases gym performance without constant stomach discomfort. The right pace is the one you can repeat for months because physique change is a long game. Protein is the anchor macro because it supports muscle, strength, and appetite control at the same time. If you want the simplest science-based target, start around 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, and advanced lifters often do well closer to 2.2 grams per kilogram, especially during a cut. If you don't track, you can still use the idea. Each meal should contain a clear protein portion. Protein quality is just a practical question. Does it provide enough essential amino acids and is it easy to digest? Distribution matters because your body builds muscle in pulses, not in one giant daily wave. A solid default is 3 to 5 protein feedings spaced across the day, each with roughly 25 to 45 grams depending on body size. If you train later in the day, one of those feedings can be a pre-workout meal that is easy on the stomach, and another can be a post-workout meal that completes your day's protein. You are not chasing a magic window. You are making sure training happens in a well-fed, well-recovered context. Carbs and fats are your adjustable levers, and you choose them based on performance and preference. Carbs refill glycogen, which is the high-octane fuel for hard sets, repeated efforts, and high-volume sessions. If you are doing multiple hard sets per muscle or doing conditioning 2 to 4 times per week on top of lifting, carbs usually make training feel better and recover faster. Fats are energy-dense and help with hormone production and overall diet satisfaction. The best split is the one you can repeat while still training hard and sleeping well. There is one guardrail with fat. Don't push it so low that your diet becomes miserable or your recovery suffers. A practical minimum is often around 0.6 grams of fat per kilogram of body weight, with flexibility based on the person and the total calories available. After that, allocate carbs to match training demands. On a hard training day with heavy compounds and enough volume to create real fatigue, higher carbs can help. On rest days, many people naturally do fine with slightly lower carbs and a similar protein target. Meal frequency is not a magic button, but it is a powerful tool for adherence and digestion. 3 bigger meals often work best when your schedule is busy, you hate constant eating, or you want fewer decisions. 5 smaller meals can work best when you need very high calories for gaining, when large meals upset your stomach, or when you prefer steady appetite. The key is protein distribution. In a 3-meal setup, you might hit a larger protein dose at each meal. In a 5-meal setup, you spread it out with smaller, consistent hits. Place meals around training with common sense. A good pre-workout meal is protein plus carbs, moderate in fat, and timed so you feel strong rather than heavy. For many people, that is 1 to 3 hours before lifting. If you train early, a smaller snack can work, like yogurt plus fruit or a shake plus a banana, then a full meal after. Post-workout, prioritize protein and carbs again if you have more training later or if you're in a gaining phase. If you're cutting, the same structure works, portions just scale down. Micronutrients, fiber, and hydration decide how your system feels, not just how it looks. Fiber supports satiety, digestion, and long-term health, and a practical target is often in the 25 to 38 gram range per day, depending on body size. If that feels high, build it gradually. A simple standard is a fruit or vegetable at most meals, plus 1 big volume food each day, like a large salad, berries, or a vegetable-heavy soup. Hydration matters for performance, pumps, and perceived effort, especially in warm gyms. Electrolytes are part of performance, not just endurance sports. Sodium helps you hold fluid in the right compartments, and when you combine sodium with carbs and water, you often get better training sessions and better pumps. That matters for quality reps, especially in the 8 to 12 rep range, where fatigue and burn can limit output. Potassium-rich foods like potatoes, beans, and many fruits help balance fluid regulation. The mistake is swinging wildly, very low sodium some days, very high others. Consistency makes your scale trend cleaner and your training feel more predictable. Finally, adherence is the real science in the real world. Your plan has to survive stress, travel, late meetings, and the fact that you are not a robot. This is where default meals win. You pick a small set of go-to breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that hit protein and calories without thought. You keep high-protein staples within reach. You design your environment so the easiest option is the option that fits your goal. When you do that, discipline becomes a backup plan, not the main plan. Part 2. Building templates and portions. A meal system becomes real when you stop improvising every day and start running templates. A template is not a strict menu. It's a structure you can repeat even when life gets loud. You're going to build 2 or 3 default days that cover almost everything: a training day, a rest day, and a busy day. The win is not perfection, it's reduced decision fatigue. When you already know what breakfast looks like, you don't accidentally start the day with low protein and spend the rest of the day chasing hunger. Templates create consistency, and consistency creates progress. Your training day template should support performance, which usually means protein at every meal and more carbs placed near training. Picture a simple day you can repeat. Breakfast could be high-protein yogurt or skyr with berries and a handful of cereal or oats for carbs, plus coffee if you want it. Lunch could be rice or potatoes with chicken, tuna, or lean beef, and a big serving of vegetables. Supper could be eggs and egg whites with toast and a salad, or a pasta bowl with turkey and tomato sauce. If you need a snack, add a whey shake with fruit. Same structure, different foods. Your rest day template has one main job. Keep protein high and calories controlled without feeling like punishment. Breakfast could be cottage cheese with fruit and a sprinkle of nuts, or an omelet with vegetables and a side of fruit. Lunch could be a big salad bowl with a protein base like chicken, tuna, tofu, or beans, plus olive oil or avocado as the fat source. Supper could be a lean protein with roasted vegetables and a smaller carb portion than a training day, like a half serving of rice or one medium potato. You're not cutting carbs, you're just matching fuel to demand. Your busy day template is the one that saves you when you have zero time and your willpower is already spent. The rule is simple: hit protein and don't let calories leak through random snacks. Breakfast might be a ready option like a protein shake plus a banana, or Skyer with honey and fruit. Lunch could be a supermarket solution like a pre-cooked chicken pack with microwave rice and a bagged salad, or a deli turkey wrap plus a side of fruit. Supper could be a fast home meal like scrambled eggs with vegetables and bread, or a frozen lean protein meal with added extra protein. Notice what makes templates powerful. They're flexible. Chicken can swap with tuna, lean beef, turkey, eggs, tofu, or low-fat dairy. Rice can swap with potatoes, pasta, bread, oats, or fruit depending on preference and digestion. Vegetables can be fresh, frozen, grilled, or bagged salad because the body does not care whether the broccoli was photographed for a cookbook. Your system should care about outcomes: protein, calories, fiber, and training fuel. Swap foods freely as long as the structure stays. That's how you avoid boredom without losing control. Now choose how you will control portions because the template needs a steering wheel. You have 3 valid paths. The most precise is macro tracking, where you set targets for calories and macros and log food. This is best if you like numbers, you want fast feedback, or you're advanced and need tighter control for a specific goal. The middle path is protein plus calorie guardrails, where you track protein and keep calories within a range using simple rules. The simplest is the hand or plate method, where you control portions visually. None of these is better morally, they're tools. If you choose macro tracking, keep it simple so you can stick to it. Start by tracking consistently for 2 to 4 weeks without trying to be perfect, just honest. Use it to learn what your usual meals actually contain. Many people think they eat high protein and discover they were missing it by a lot. Once you see patterns, you can build your templates inside your targets. For advanced athletes, macro tracking can be especially useful during a cut while keeping performance in the gym stable, like maintaining 4 to 6 hard sets per muscle per week at minimum. If you choose protein plus calorie guardrails, you focus on the 2 biggest drivers of progress: protein consistency and total intake control. Protein can be the daily non-negotiable, and calories become a weekly trend you manage by portion size. For fat loss, you tighten the guardrails by shrinking carb and fat portions slightly, not by eliminating foods. For gaining, you widen the guardrails by adding carbs around training or adding a calorie-dense snack. This approach is powerful because it gives structure without turning your day into a constant math exam. It also works well if you're training 3 to 5 days weekly. If you choose the hand or plate method, you still run it like a scientist. Your plate becomes a simple device: a clear protein portion, a big produce portion, a carb portion that changes with training, and a fat portion that stays reasonable. You adjust based on feedback. If weight is trending down too fast and gym performance drops, your portions are too small. If weight trends up too fast in a bulk and waist jumps quickly, portions are too large. This method works extremely well for beginners because it builds awareness and routine first. Later, you can upgrade to tracking for precision when needed. Protein-first meal building is the fastest way to make every template work. Before you think about carbs or fats, lock in the protein source. That could be eggs, egg whites, chicken, turkey, lean beef, fish, yogurt, cottage cheese, tofu, or whey. Once protein is set, you add carbs based on training demands and add fats based on taste and satiety. Beginners often fail because they build meals around carbs and fats first, then hope protein shows up somewhere. Advanced athletes fail when they get fancy with recipes and forget consistency. Protein first keeps you grounded, even when you're busy or traveling. Make the plate architecture do the work for you. If your goal is fat loss, keep the protein portion stable, keep produce high, and scale carbs and fats down slightly. If your goal is maintenance, keep the same structure and let carbs rise a bit on training days. If your goal is gaining, keep protein stable, keep produce present, and increase carbs and fats strategically. Carbs are often the best lever for performance because they support repeated sets in the 6 to 12 rep range, especially on big compound lifts. Fats can be a helpful lever when you need more calories, but you struggle to eat more volume. Snacks can either stabilize your system or quietly sabotage it, so treat them as planned tools. The best snacks have a high protein per calorie ratio, are easy to portion, and don't trigger mindless overeating. High-protein yogurt or Skyr is a top-tier option because it's convenient and predictable. Cottage cheese works similarly, especially with fruit. A whey shake can be a fast protein patch on a busy day. Protein bars can be useful if they actually deliver protein without turning into candy, so you choose them by protein density, not marketing. Jerky, tuna packs, eggs, and edamame are also strong choices. Dessert and liquid calories need a strategy, not a ban. Liquid calories are easy to overconsume because they don't fill you up the same way. If you want a sweet option, pair it with protein or cap the portion intentionally. A simple move is fruit with yogurt or popcorn paired with a protein shake, so you get volume plus protein and don't end the day with low protein and high calories. Build a small snack kit conceptually, 1 or 2 options you always keep available that match your goals. That way, snacks become predictable, not random. Predictable intake is what creates predictable results. Now layer personalization for advanced needs without losing the simple foundation. If you train with high volume, like 4 to 6 workouts per week with multiple hard sets per muscle, carbs become more important for performance and recovery. You may benefit from placing a larger carb portion before and after training, and in some cases using intra-workout carbs during long sessions, especially when training exceeds about 90 minutes. If you are trying to gain and you struggle to hit calories, adding an extra meal or a calorie-dense snack can help. If you're a beginner, you keep it simpler, consistency first, precision second. Finally, you need a weekly feedback loop because a system without feedback is just a routine. Pick a primary outcome, like body weight trend, and one secondary metric, like waist measurement, gym performance, or hunger. Review weekly, not daily. If fat loss stalls for 2 or 3 weeks and you are consistent, you adjust portions slightly downward, usually by trimming carbs or fats, while keeping protein stable. If gaining is too slow and performance is flat, you add a small portion of carbs around training or add one snack. If performance drops sharply, check sleep and steps before slashing food. Part 3. Execution, meal prep, shopping, and eating out. A meal system only works if it survives real life, and real life is not organized around your macros. Execution is the difference between knowing and doing. The goal of meal prep is not to live out of containers, it's to reduce decisions. Every extra decision is a chance to drift off plan when you are tired, rushed, or stressed. You want fewer choices. When your food environment is set up, you can train 3 to 5 times per week, hit hard sets in the 6 to 15 rep range, recover well, and still have a normal life without constantly negotiating with your appetite. Pick your meal prep level based on your schedule, not your ego. Ingredient prep is the lightest level. You batch cook protein, batch cook a carb base, and keep vegetables ready, then assemble meals in minutes. Partial prep is when you cook components and also portion some meals for the next day or two. Full prep is when you portion most meals for multiple days ahead. The best level is the one you can actually repeat weekly. Beginners often do best with ingredient prep because it's flexible. Advanced athletes cutting for performance might prefer more full prep because accuracy helps. Run meal prep like a weekly planning routine. Choose 1 or 2 prep windows you can defend, like a weekend block and a midweek refresh. In the prep window, you decide your proteins, your carb bases, your vegetables, and 1 or 2 sauces. That is it. You are building modular meals that you can mix and match. If you need variety, you rotate seasonings and sauces, not the entire food structure. This saves time and keeps adherence high. The system should feel easier than ordering delivery because convenience wins long-term, not motivation. Shopping is where most people lose control without realizing it, so build a repeatable grocery framework. Your cart should have protein anchors, carb bases, fats, produce, and flavor. Protein anchors are the non-negotiable items that make the whole system work. Carb bases are the training fuel that you scale up or down. Fats keep meals satisfying. Produce covers fiber and micronutrients. Flavor makes the plan livable. When you shop with categories, you stop wandering. Wandering leads to impulse buys, and impulse buys lead to "why is my progress stalling" conversations. If budget matters, think in cost per protein, not fancy labels. Eggs are usually one of the cheapest high-quality proteins. Chicken thighs or chicken breast can be very cost-effective depending on local prices. Canned tuna, sardines, and mackerel deliver high protein with long shelf life, which is powerful for busy weeks. Cottage cheese or quark and Greek yogurt or skyr are high-protein staples that also work as snacks. Frozen fish can be a bargain when discounted. Lean ground meat on sale is a classic base for fast meals. Tofu and tempeh can also be strong protein options. Whey concentrate is often one of the most efficient protein per cost tools. Beans and lentils deserve a special note because they are cheap, filling, and support your fiber target, but they are not the same as a complete high-protein anchor by themselves. They work best when paired with a more complete protein source, like adding beans to a meat dish, combining lentils with dairy, or using tofu with a bean-based meal. This is how you get the best of both worlds. Budget-friendly volume, plus a strong amino acid profile. If you do this consistently, you can support muscle gain while keeping food costs reasonable, even while training 4 to 6 days per week. Now build a kitchen workflow that makes cook once, eat multiple times automatic. Start with batching protein. A sheet pan method works well because it scales chicken, turkey, lean beef, or tofu in one pan, seasoned, cooked, and ready. Batch a carb base next, like rice or potatoes, because that lets you scale training fuel quickly. Then solve vegetables with a strategy, not stress. Frozen vegetables are a cheat code. They are consistent, fast, and you can portion them without waste. Add 1 or 2 quick sauces and spices, and you can create multiple meals without feeling like you're eating the same thing repeatedly. Food safety matters because getting sick ruins training momentum. Cook proteins thoroughly, cool cooked food quickly, and store it properly. If you prep multiple days ahead, keep portions in sealed containers and reheat thoroughly. If you are unsure about how long something has been sitting, do not gamble. Consistency in training depends on consistency in health. For advanced athletes, this is even more important because you may be training with high volume and pushing recovery hard. A small foodborne issue can wipe out a week of quality sessions and set your progress back. Eating out is not the enemy, it's a skill. Restaurants create 3 predictable problems. Protein is often lower than you think. Portions are bigger than you think, and cooking fats are higher than you think. Your job is to control the levers you can control. You prioritize a clear protein-centered entree. You choose cooking methods that are less oil-heavy when possible, and you manage sauces by putting them on the side. You add vegetables when they exist. You do not need to make it clean, you need to make it workable. Workable meals protect progress and reduce rebound overeating. Fast food can fit your plan if you order like a lifter and not like someone on autopilot. At places like McDonald's, the easiest win is choosing protein-forward items and controlling the extras. A burger can be workable if you keep it simple. Consider dropping one calorie-dense add-on and pair it with a lower-calorie side sometimes. If you need more protein, doubling the protein portion is often more effective than adding more fries. The guiding idea is that you want protein first, then carbs if you trained, and you keep liquid calories and desserts controlled because they add up fast without adding fullness. Shawarma and kebab spots can be surprisingly solid if you steer the order. A plate option often gives you more control than a wrap because you can manage the carb portion and see the components. If you choose a wrap, you treat it like a full meal and skip extra sides. Sauces can be the hidden calorie bomb, so ask for less or keep it on the side. Choose a clear protein base, add vegetables, and decide if you need the extra carbs based on training day versus rest day. This approach lets you eat socially and still hit the weekly calorie trend you need for fat loss or gaining. Pizza and sushi are classic, easy-to-overeat foods because they are highly palatable and portions are deceptive. With pizza, the strategy is to cap slices and pair the meal with protein or a high-volume side, like a salad, so the meal feels complete without turning into a calorie avalanche. With sushi, the biggest variable is rice quantity and sauce. Choose higher protein options, keep heavy sauces controlled, and treat extra rolls like extra carb portions. You can enjoy the food, you just steer the dose. Dose control is the whole game. Estimating portions without tracking is a skill you can train, just like a squat. Visual cues help because your hands scale with your body size. A palm-sized portion of protein is a useful starting point, a fist-sized portion of carbs is a useful unit, and a thumb-sized portion of fats is a useful unit. You adjust based on goals and training. On hard training days, carbs rise. On rest days, carbs often shrink. The key is consistency in estimation. If you estimate differently every time, you get unpredictable results. If you estimate consistently, your weekly trend gives you actionable feedback. Apps and tools can speed up portion estimation, especially at the start. Photo-based logging and barcode-based databases can help you learn what typical portions look like in calories and protein. The goal is not to track forever. The goal is to calibrate your intuition. A strong method is to track consistently for 2 to 4 weeks, then transition to estimating while checking in occasionally. Advanced athletes often cycle this approach. Track during a high-precision phase like a cut, then estimate during a maintenance phase to reduce mental fatigue. This keeps you accurate without burning out. Weekends and social events are where most people either make progress or undo it, because the weekly calorie balance is built there. Alcohol matters because it adds calories, lowers inhibition, and can damage sleep quality, which hurts recovery and training performance. A smart approach is budgeting. You keep your earlier meals protein-focused and moderate in calories. You arrive at the event not starving, and you choose your must-have foods intentionally. You do not compensate the next day with extreme restriction. You go back to your template and let consistency do the work. Travel and chaotic days need a backup system, not a new plan. Your minimum viable day is simple. Hit a strong protein target, get some produce, keep calories reasonable, and move on. Portable proteins like whey, jerky, tuna packs, and yogurt can make this easy. Airport and gas station food can still work if you choose protein-forward items and avoid turning snacks into a full-day grazing pattern. For advanced athletes, travel is when you protect training quality by prioritizing carbs near sessions and hydration. For beginners, travel is when you protect habit continuity. Continuity is what builds results. All right, here's how you turn this into results starting today. First, pick your goal for the next 4 weeks. Leaner, bigger, or stronger at the same weight. Don't try to do everything at once. Next, build 2 or 3 default day templates you can repeat: a training day, a rest day, and a busy day. Keep protein consistent in every template, then scale carbs and fats up or down based on whether you're cutting, maintaining, or gaining. Then choose your portion method. If you like precision, track for a few weeks and use that data to build your templates. If you hate tracking, use the plate method and adjust portions based on your weekly trend. After that, win the environment. Shop for protein anchors. Keep 2 emergency snacks ready and prep ingredients once so meals are assemble and go, not cook from scratch. And here's the key. Review once per week. If weight isn't moving the way you want for 2 weeks, adjust one lever, slightly smaller carb or fat portions to cut, slightly bigger around training to gain. Keep training hard, stay consistent, and let the system do the heavy lifting.